Hey everybody, my name's Nick, and today I am talking about book 8 of the Wheel of Time series, The Path of Daggers. And I gotta say, I enjoyed this one more than book 7. With book 7, I was extremely bored. I was getting really frustrated with the amount of description and over description and re-description that Robert Jordan had, and I think in this book he pulled back a little bit. Maybe I should give credit to his editor, and maybe his editor in this book was like, hey, everyone really hated the last book on how much you were describing clothes and just totally unrelated stuff and things that everyone's already read a million times. And it still does happen in this book, probably more than the average person would want, but it wasn't too bad and I was fine with it. This book also had really fun events, really great story going on, and something that Robert Jordan did in this book that he hasn't been able to do for me before is make me kind of enjoy an Egwene storyline. If you've watched my previous reviews of the books, I absolutely hate Egwene, and in this one, I don't hate her that much. Now, I still dislike her as a person. I still dislike her character a lot, and her arrogance and her thinking that she's just better than everybody else. I cannot stand that. But she has a lot of really cool moments, a lot of really good scenes where she's taking control of the Hall of the Tower, and I enjoyed that whole scene specifically where she is calling the questions of the hall and she's manipulating them, and it was just a fun, cool scene. And that, like I said, that's something that Robert Jordan hasn't done for me before. I have absolutely hated Egwene for the past 7 books without fail, and my hatred for her has only gotten stronger as the series has gone on, and in this one he actually brought me back a peg. Right? I still don't like her at all, but I like her a little more. Another thing that Robert Jordan did fantastic in this book is he did a great job writing the conflict between Rand's army and the Shan-Chan. I think that the flipping between sides, letting us see these perspectives of the Shan-Chan and how they're not understanding what's going on, it was just really cool, really fun seeing how the power siding and Saidar are being really unpredictable if you're not super careful with it, just leading up to that point to where we see him wielding Kalendor, and because of that taint amplification, he just doesn't concentrate enough. He's just lashing out with pure raw power, and he's not realizing he's killing everybody. And it's super terrible that all those people died, but Rand needed a failure. He is getting way too big for his britches. His head is getting too big, and he's having a really difficult time with arrogance. And I do attribute maybe 60% of that arrogance to the taint on Saidin, kind of just giving him this craziness where he feels that he's the best and that he can't do it. But I think some of it is also just his position, him actually liking the power of his position more, and I don't attribute all of it to the taint. So those were a couple of standout things that I really enjoyed about this book. I think Robert Jordan kind of knocked it out of the park with this one. I was happy to continue reading this book. I didn't feel that with book 7. Book 8, I enjoyed this one. If you've watched his previous reviews, I love Matt. I love his character. I love his story. And man, not a single word of Matt, not a single word, not a single scene from Matt in this whole book. And I missed him. And even without that, I still enjoyed this book. I think it could have done better to have some Matt scenes in there, because for me personally, I like him. I think his stories are fun. I would have loved it. But I'm sure Robert Jordan, trying to set up the next book, he just couldn't advance Matt's character, his story yet. So hopefully Matt's back in next book, because I'm excited to see, Matt was left on such a cliffhanger in the last book, and to not get any scenes with him whatsoever, it hurt. I wish we could have seen from him. Now, I could go in depth and talk about things that I liked or didn't like for an hour, 2 hours, who knows how long I could actually go, because I have so much stuff written down. But I won't do that. I'll just say, overall, I think this was a step in the right direction. There was a lot of fun, cool things that happened. Overall, this was a good book. I enjoyed this one, and I am excited to move on to book 9 and see where these characters are taken and what happens, and hopefully get some scenes from Matt to get my favorite character back into it. Let me know what you thought about this book, whether you liked it or not. Book 7 was definitely not one of my favorite, and this one, maybe because of that, this one seems a lot better than it actually is. But I enjoyed this one, and that's about it. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Nick here. If you enjoyed this video, please gently caress that like button for us.
And Ray, thanks for watching. It was a blast. Make sure to hit that subscribe if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing, what me and him are doing. There. Me and him. Nick and Ray. Subscribe.